Speaking of trouble, Sunita, welcome.
Oh,
Seems that you're causing a bit of trouble around the patches at the moment.
of
Um,
course.
I want to play a video. We played this yesterday. I know you know what this is, but for people who aren't up to date, your company, I guess, is suing Brian Tamaki and some associates of Brian Tamaki. Just tell us exactly what, like layman's terms, what are you suing him for?
So basically, suing him for defamation, both personally for me, Sunita Torrance, and for my business partner, Daniel Lockett. We are Erica and Coco Flash. Those are our stage names. And our company, well, my company, House of Flash, has also suffered greatly due to the actions of Brian Tamaki and his church. So
I felt the air quotes around that when I just kind of felt that way.
And we have suffered quite a lot in regards to cancelled shows. We no longer feel safe doing our tours and productions that we would normally be doing. And of course, Daniel/Erica has now moved permanently to the UK, which was not on the cards. He was supposed to be coming back to complete all of our tours and shows that we would normally do. And moving back to Auckland, but now he's not returning.
So there's a part of that whole spiel. There's the personal harm, but you're saying part of the case is because of the professional harm. Part of the case is because you're saying Brian Tamaki actively did someone, whether it's him or his church or his group, whatever, to harm your business. Is that fair? Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
That's sort of what I thought it was, which kind of confused me. I played this last night, but I'll play it again. When it seems that maybe he admits to doing that on video. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's just have a listen to the first kind of.
It'd be stupid to do that.
It would be stupid to do that. This is like the first 60 seconds of this. They live stream being served. I guess they're your court documents there, aren't they? Or your company's court documents. Yeah. And this is what he had to say in the first 60 seconds.
I want to show you something right now. I've just been served by this man doing his job. Look how thick this is. Now, I'm going to let you know what this is. This is a serving by drag queens who are taking me to court and some of my church members, Destiny Church, and I want all of New Zealanders to share.
I actually like something there. Did you notice that what the text said underneath where he said Destiny Church?
Oh no!
It doesn't say Destiny Church. You look what it says.
Let's have a look.
Because it is make believe. His thing. Have a look what it says instead of Destiny Church.
Serving by drag queens who are taking me to court and some of my church members,
Ready?
Disney Church. I want all of New Zealanders to share this and around the world. This is the document that they have served me for a high court, suing me and my church for $2 million. These are drag queens.
Nope.
Now, why are they suing me, taking me to the high court and my church for $2 million? Because I shut their business down.
Ah.
You know what their business was?
What?
Sexualizing our children.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, I don't know the legal definition of when you're saying causing your business harm, but he seems that he's comfortable saying publicly that he shut your business down. Now, I guess I don't know, like I said, the legal ramifications. Is someone allowed to shut someone else's business down? Or is this all a part of the harm as you're talking about? And has he just kind of admitted to what you're accusing him of?
Yeah, and it's not the first time that he's been proud about shutting my company and business down. Yeah. He also did it in a bit of an interview with that Israeli-Australian documentary maker that's making a doco about him.
Oh, the wife beater, Avi Yemeni. Yeah, the guy who's got a conviction for beating his wife. Upstanding citizen.
Yeah. Outstanding. So, basically, this is not the first time that he's admitted, but, you know, part of the court case is that he has caused injury and harm to the company and the business. Yeah. And you can't do that. You cannot do that. That's part of the whole defamation side of things as well, was that if you're causing a business or a company to be unable to operate, as they would normally do so in a lawful way,
Yeah.
then that's injury.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. And I mean, again, because I don't know what the legal arguments would be, because like I'm just thinking outside the box here. If I started up a business to interact with, to push down another person's business, and I was the reason that business shut, that would be okay. The line of demarcation is, when is it not okay to be the causation for someone's business to be shut down? That'll be interesting to find out. The other thing is, because we're not a culture of suing, we're not like America where everything's sue. And when we hear $2 million, we go, shit, that's a lot of money to sue for as well. Can you explain a little bit about how maybe you guys got to that? Like, that sounds like a big amount of money.
Yeah, so that's come about from what we would have made if we were still doing all of our operations and shows.
Right.
So
for how long? What would you have made for how long?
So this is for a minimum of the next 12 to 18 months, because that's how long it's going to take for it to get into the court system.
Right.
So that's how long, what is our expectations of what we are losing.
Yeah.
And that's looking to be close to $1 million in itself. In regards to, I've turned down the tours with RuPaul's Drag Race Queens in New Zealand. I have cancelled my Rocky Horror Picture Show 50th anniversary tour. We usually get hired for all sorts of things, and of course our Rainbow Storytime tours as well, of course. And just everything. I cannot guarantee the safety of my cast and crew involved because of they've used the images of our Rocky Horror Picture Show. So they've actually used images from our adult shows in this protest. So that therefore makes those shows unsafe.
Yeah. Because
they are using our imagery of those and using it bad. Yeah.
Yeah. The POM 88 has said a reference is called restriction of trade. I guess that's the legalities of what we're talking about within this conversation. It sucks, eh? This is really sucky. And I mean, I grew up religiously, right? And I've done a lot of things in the religious church. And I want to say something to you. You said we'll talk about this in a minute, but you set a really good example of how to interact with assholes when you went on Sean Plunkett's show. And he was yelling at you and you showed empathy to him and his attitude went whoosh, and we played it here and talked it through, and people in the chat were like, holy crap, he just changed completely. I wanted to say to you, and this isn't a set up plan, I just thought of it now, that sort of on behalf of those people who have been religious or who are religious, who aren't complete cockwombles, this dude is not representing the teachings of that dude who was around 2,000 years ago, which were love the guy upstairs and love your neighbor as yourself. That's it. So this cockwomble has got no, I mean, people have been saying cult. It is a cult. It's nothing to do with that religion that has huge amounts of issues with it, but at its absolute core is about loving people more often than not who are more vulnerable than you. Yeah. So I want to say to you that I'm so sorry that you've had to go through this with him. If for nothing else, he's a poor representation of what this thing is supposed to be, and he's got nothing to do with the good parts or the good elements of the thing of looking after vulnerable people and the widows and orphans and hanging out with the prostitutes and tax collectors and going on a camping trip with your 12 best mates. He's so far from all of that stuff. And so I mean, I don't know if it makes any sense, but kind of on behalf of those who have been in that world, I'm really sorry. It sucks.
Yeah. No, and you know what? He's not what Christianity is. This is the church of Brian Tamaki. It's not a Christian church. I was brought up in the Baptist church, and that's when we moved to Destiny Church, which he denies I ever could have done, apparently.
Oh, but, I didn't know that. So you were a part of it.
And so I used to go irregularly. We used to go to my mother and I went to Hillsong over in Sydney. We moved to Sydney, went over to Hillsong, and every time we'd come back, we'd go to Destiny. And this is before he got the TV shows and all that sort of stuff. And then, when we went back to Sydney, that's when things started to pick up a bit more with him. We were like, not really into what he's doing now. But we were completely enthralled by him at the start. Oh, look at this young brown fellow who says shit in his sermons, like that's like so cool. And that's what drew us in. And so, yeah, I had dealings with that, and was invited to go to their youth programs and all that. This is when I was 20. Go to the youth programs and, and then later on their women's programs and legacy and stuff like that too. But yeah, it's not the Christian way. And I've had so many churches and pastors and all sorts of beautiful people, private messaging saying, we just want to let you know that we strongly support you and what you're doing. We know what you're doing isn't wrong, and we love what you do. And we're just really sorry that this person is speaking on behalf of Christianity, because it's not the way. And I'm like, I totally know. And I'm actually going to be a guest speaker at the Decult conference in Christchurch in October.
Okay.
And talking. So Peter Lynham will be there. He wrote the book. Peter. Yeah, so he'll be there talking a lot about it, and then I'll be on the panel in regards to disinformation and what's been going on with Destiny Church and us, sort of as a follow-up for that as well, and also possibly on the Rainbow LGBT panel as well. So yeah, it sucks that people think that that's what Christianity is, because it's not. It absolutely is not. It's cult-like behavior, in that he gets vulnerable people, draws them in, bleeds them dry, and they just believe. I've got, a best friend from primary and high school who got completely involved with Man Up after he had drug problems and things like that. They ended up absolutely screwing him over and kicking him out and all this sort of stuff, and he spiraled. And we haven't heard from him since.
Wow.
Like 6 years, no one's heard from him.
Yeah.
And it's sad. We don't know what's become of him and what he's doing and what happened after Man Up did that to him.
It's fascinating. I had no idea that you were going to just share all this. Have you shared this with anyone in the media that you were a member of?
Not necessarily. I did share that I had attended Destiny Church, and of course Hannah and Brian completely said no, she never did. I'm like, yeah, you don't need to sign up to anything, and you should go to churches to go to churches.
Because what I was going to say is it's fascinating how, and there's an alleged situation in the press today about an alleged person who's committed, sexual acts, who allegedly was a part of the Destiny Church, and he's like, no, never a part of it. And then all these photos are popping up, all of the with arm around him, next to him, sort of thing. So it's interesting how he always seems to run away from people affiliated or who have been affiliated with his church, who now no longer suit his narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really quite sad, because there was also a lady who defrauded and stole money from somewhere, and she and it was put that she was a member of Destiny Church, and they pushed that away as well. So it's a history of it, definitely, of them. Once they love the controversy, but once it's actually there, they're like, no. Yeah.
As I said earlier, it sounds like a lot of money, yeah? And I think I asked you this last time with what your lawyers are saying, and I think I remember you saying they think it's a bit of a slam dunk. Is that still the feeling now?
Yeah, absolutely. He's continuing to incriminate himself. He continues to talk about us. He continues to say things about us, and that we are child groomers and all sorts of things. He's still saying it. And this is why we were silent right up from March till June, when we presented it to the court and did the press conference. That's because we wanted to gather all of that. We wanted to gather all of that evidence, because now that it's all been filed, people are scrambling to delete it. They're deleting all sorts of things. There's people locking down their profiles, but we've already got it,
And he's still saying it publicly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't. before the filing as well, and before he got served. So in between the filing and him being served his papers, I don't think he actually still thought it was happening. I think maybe he just thought it was just a bit of a hoo-ha going on, but it wasn't actually happening. So it's he was still saying things about us in that little period of time too.
It is the classic example of a narcissist, isn't it? A narcissist will go, I'm never wrong. I won't be held. They don't literally say I won't be held accountable, but their actions are, I'm the center of the universe. Everyone else revolves around me. I'm not the one who's ever wrong. And if I'm wrong, I still get to be right. It's on it. And I mean, I don't know if he is or isn't officially, but all these things, he's either a moron, right, who doesn't understand what is coming, or he's a narcissist who can't not do it, who can't not be for pardon the pun, but the Christ-like figure in his own narrative.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's so hard for us to deal with. Like, it's just like, oh my God. Like, when we tried to go to NetSafe with the evidence of everything that was going on digitally, they actually told us we can't do anything with this because it is too much. They're like, can you narrow it down? I'm like, actually, no, I can't. It's too hard. Wow. So yeah, it's a slam dunk.
A couple of other texts that have come in. Mr. Arvid says, love to Sunita, you're great.
Oh, thanks.
And Peter says, I grew up watching Dame Edna specials. I doubt anybody was corrupted by Barry Humphries or any other drag performance. I mean, it could be said for things like Mrs. Doubtfire and Tootsie and all sorts of other things as well.
Everything. Bugs Bunny had drag in it. The Lion King has drag in it. It's everywhere, and it's always been a form of humorous entertainment. Yeah.
Hey, I did want to, and I said I'd circle back to this. I did want to talk to you about your conversation with Karen Plunkett. Sorry, Oliver Plunkett. Sorry, Sean Plunkett. I always get that wrong. Because I did text you after you went on it, and we did watch it here as well. If you noticed and what you think of his change in demeanor after you were gracious and kind to him.
I literally did not realize. I didn't really at the time. I didn't know until I watched it back, because it wasn't a strategy or anything like that. It was literally me going, I knew at the start of the conversation that I did want to bring up what had happened, because like I honestly did feel for the guy. I felt for him. Like, I don't know what Emily Wrights wrote and what these accusations were and all that sort of stuff, but I felt just empathy for the fact that he believes that these things were hurtful and harmful towards himself, and that's what I could relate to. So I definitely wanted him to know that I felt for that, and it was it wasn't a strategy to stop him in any way, but it kind of did for a millisecond, I guess. I was much more prepared for that interview than the first one I ever did. I understood more what he was like. So I was prepared for him to be interrupting me and not letting me answer questions that he was asking. But it goes very off the cuff. Yeah.
I don't ever expect Karen will ask me to do anything with him, but if he ever does, what I'll be saying to him is there's one condition. Every time you interrupt me, it's $100. And every time I interrupt you, it's $100. I'll pay you $100. If those terms are acceptable to you, happy to. Yeah. And I would probably expect to walk away with a couple of grand, maybe, just easy on the side.
Yeah, I mean, I've never experienced that before. I'm just like when you're a journalist, not to you try to draw out answers. You don't want a yes or no answer, but all of a sudden that's what he wanted. And I'm like, that's not what, you need meat.
Michael Parkinson had one of the best examples ever of what to do. And he says you just wait. So someone finishes an answer, you give it a beat, and often they'll then just continue on and go a bit deeper themselves. So it's interesting. The other thing that's a bit sad about that, I don't want to talk about him anymore, but about that is that we're on this platform, this internet platform, where there's no time constraints. We can talk for 10 minutes or 10 hours if we want. And I say to my guests, I mean, you know this, but I just basically ask the question and then let the person answer. If there's ever a tight timetable, like if someone says I've got 10 minutes, I'll cut in over them if I need to get to a question. But we don't like operating like that. We like to have a good long chat, and then when we're finished, and everyone's had their say. It's great.
Love it. Love it.
What's happening next? What's happening next in the saga of Brian Tamaki?
Whew, so we are still very much needing to get funds. We've got our Give a Little page. We are like ultimately we want to get $130,000. That's for the legal costs. So we already got 32,000 in our previous one. That got us to the point of filing. Now it's the rest.
Right.
So we have our Give a Little page. We're at 36,000, I think, right at the moment, which is
What is
still
it? Is there? I'm
great.
just looking. I'm on your what's it called? Your. I was actually just on your page here, and I scrolled down. And I saw
yeah.
a couple of very attractive men there on your.
Oh, look at those hotties.
I'm talking about that.
Look,
but I was
go
looking
up,
for a
go up.
link. Where's a link to what is the?
There.
Yeah.
It should be there. Maybe. Oh my God. Well, obviously I'm failing at that side of things, but it should still definitely be there somewhere. Yeah, the link, the new Give a Little, and it's under the story.
Here we go. I think I
Case
found it.
of Brian Tamaki, I think it is.
That one.
Yeah. No,
that's the old one.
that's the old one.
Okay.
So there should, if you can click on
Let the story be told.
Let the Story Be Told. That's it.
There we go.
Yeah, 36,000 we're at now, which is awesome, and that's been like 4 or 5 weeks. But yeah, we are looking at getting 130,000, which I know seems a hell of a lot, but that's because we expect Brian to make it drawn out quite a lot.
So here's what we'll do, right? I don't know if you know too much about our brand that we do here called Buffer. We do a Buffer brand. Long story short, I'm sorry, Whānau, I know you know the story, but I'm explaining to Sunita. As we had Professor Margaret Mutu on with us talking about issues around Māoridom, and at the end of the conversation, Chewie went, what can we do as non-Māori to help you in your fight? And she went, be a buffer. She went, stand in the gap. And she said, you can be there so that if they won't listen to us, maybe they'll listen to you. And so off the back of that, we started up this brand that we do every month called Buffer, and we do a different cause for it. So we sell hoodies and merch and T-shirts and stuff with the word Buffer on it. I'm not wearing, no, I don't have one down here. And I was planning on doing a rainbow one. So how about we do this? We'll do our next lot of rainbow Buffer, and we always donate a percentage of the profits, and we'll do it to Let the Story Be Told. So that's what we'll do.
Serious? Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. We'll totally do that. So I have this rainbow one already up my sleeve. I've already designed it. And that'll be the next one. So people, you're getting an early, I'll do it next week now, but people are getting an early look at it. We'll do Buffer for a couple of weeks, and we'll do a rainbow coloured Buffer, and we'll do it for Let the Story Be Told.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, don't get too ahead of yourself. It's not going to be millions of dollars, you know.
No, but it's helping to promote the whole thing too. Because I mean, I'm the ultimate buffer at the moment. You know, I'm
100%.
the straight person making the whole thing happen because I care for the community that I'm not involved with.
Yeah.
But again, that's what allyship is about. It's about taking on that fight wholeheartedly because people need it.
Yep.
Oh
and look,
God.
people are on board. Brother Monk says awesome, Pat. Free Soul says cool. Kiwi Skirt says great idea.
Awesome.
Great idea. It's all going in there. So so these beautiful people who are watching and listening will support it as well. That's what it's about. That's what community is, Sunita, and you're welcome to be a part of ours. Okay, so let's just stay in touch and see what's happening next. This process takes a while, the way it's going to be a couple of years.
At least a year for it to actually get its first date. So, we're hoping that in that time, we get the funding going on, and we'll also be able to get Dan back over for the, the end type stuff as well, because he needs to be here.
Yep. Cool bananas, mate. Hey, it's so lovely to talk to you again.
You too. It's so good.
Yeah, and we'll stay in touch, and I'll email you or text you or whatever over the next 7 days, so to give you a link as to what we're doing, and
cool.
We'll see what we can force our beautiful viewers and listeners to buy. We'll guilt them into buying them so we can give you some more money or something like that. We'll figure it out.
Love it. Thank you,
cool.
guys. You're doing amazing stuff. Thank you so much to all of you.
All right, Sunita. Thanks for joining us tonight, mate.
Awesome.
We'll talk to you soon.
See you later. Bye.
That is Sunita Torrance, aka Coco Flash, and her suit against Brian Tamaki, and why.